bring a new definition to being conservative. Because what we have now is really very obtuse and very spongy. You can't quite feel anything. All you hear is a lot of rhetoric.
I'm just waiting for the hard questions to come. I think that the big thing is you do have to work together with other people to get things done. You can't just do it on your own. I'm not going to go up there and just think that I can be John Wayne and accomplish everything on my own. And I do think there is a movement right now. We're seeing this in primaries across the country with people that believe in the Constitution, believe that we need to not simply maintain the size of government, not simply stop the growth, but we actually want to make government smaller and bring us back to what our Constitution was originally. And we have to work together. And you can't do it on your own, because we've already said, unless we get a veto-proof majority, a lot of this stuff is going to be really difficult to do.
Yeah.
But there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can reduce. I've been able to force the governor of this state, Janet Napolitano, to actually sign that human smuggling. That was an unbelievably difficult thing to do. And the first thing that I think that we need to do in order to make a lot of this possible is to be more transparent in our government. Now, this president promised that he's the most transparent government in the world. Has that happened? Nope, absolutely not. I believe that is the only way of us knowing what our government is doing and putting it all online. There's a bill right now in our state that arose that says that every single receipt the government has goes online in a database that anybody can get. That's something we need at the federal level. That exact thing, to make all of you the eyes and ears to know what our government's doing.
Obama's going to put all that on C-SPAN pretty soon.
Well, watch the impeachment on C-SPAN.
I think that we need to have representatives who have the courage to actually meet with their constituents and answer questions. If I'm not doing the job you want me to do, I should have the courage to be able to go here, and you should be able to ask me those questions. And I think that one of the things that, this is the criticism I have with this congresswoman. When was the last time that she had a real town hall where people were able to ask her questions? It shouldn't take a crisis on the border for her to pay attention to Fort Arizona. And
The last town hall she had in this area was in Douglas at the supermarket at Safeway. She allowed 50 people, and she met with them one-on-one in a separate area.
she does that everywhere, so you can't bring a camera to
It
it.
was all separate, one-on-one, like behind a little curtain.
And I think that this is the commitment I'm making to you. Every single quarter, at the very least, I want to have a town hall in all the different regions of the district, so you can ask me questions. You can say, you know what, this is what you promised. How are you working on that promise right now? You promised that you would try to go back to the Constitution and try to reduce the size of government. How's that coming along? I want to be able to do that.
As to Steve's question, obviously you need partners in this. We want to accomplish what he's talking about doing. The other districts in Arizona, I'm very curious about. We've got Kirkpatrick, Mitchell, Pasteur, Rehova. All of them need to go if we want to give you people, to work with, to be able to accomplish what he wants to accomplish. What's it looking like in these other districts? Do you have any idea?
They say that this is the most vulnerable district in the state.
It is?
It is. And the other ones, they say that it's doable, but they don't have a clear front runner, that it's such a cloudy, no one knows who the other guys are that are running, that it's a lot more difficult. They don't know right now who's going to win or how that's going to work out. And they feel like they're going to, that they have a real chance of picking up, is it 1 and 5, I think it is?
1 and 5 look
1
good?
and 5. It's possible, but they all have different problems. Harry Mitchell's been around for a long time, and they have a statue of him in Tempe.
Well, I just think it's a shame, having met Jesse and Brian and Andy were all here, and I think all 4 of you are wonderful people. And it's a shame that we get all the good candidates down here. I was hoping that they had some good ones up there to challenge their liberals too.
Well, and I don't know honestly, I don't really know them very well.
You don't know.
I'm kind of focusing on my own area, so. But I wish them Godspeed, and I think we do. They are vulnerable. And right now across the country, we've seen seats that we never thought were vulnerable before. All of a sudden, who would have thought that we'd have a Republican senator filling Ted Kennedy's seat? even if he doesn't, I don't agree with him on a lot of issues, he's better than Ted Kennedy, I can tell you that. Yes, sir.
I come from that state you're talking about, the Senate. Politics up there is usually very hot and heavy. I'm an independent. I've always voted. I've been Democrat. Both are pretty much the same. My hang up that I see is I have a lot of friends that don't always see as I do, but we all get along. And I can remember like Tip O'Neill and them. Those guys could talk about things, work it out, and then go have a beer. But the problem we got now is we put the people in there and they just stonewall it.
Sure.
Nobody works. They all got their agendas, and they're both the same, Republicans and Democrats the same. And when we go and hear it, there's a lot of us independents out there, and probably the swing votes. And being able to work together, particularly when you've got guys in combat where you've been, I've been, and I've got friends here from Korea. This friend over here was blowing up munitions and we were sitting on the New Jersey fire over his head. That's how far we were there. You have to be able to work together. And when I see the same old politics, we've got a couple of senators here that just look to get voted back in. That's what we have in the team, trying to get in. Are you going to be able to work with these guys across the aisle to get something done? This is the problem. There's a lot of big issues. And, you can slam presidents and you can slam senators. At the end of the day, if nothing gets done, you got the same old deal. And as I say, in Massachusetts, we just talked about that new senator. He's in there because other guys like me say, man, we've got to get some people in there, maybe shake them up a little bit, get talking. Go twist their arms a little bit.
I'll tell you,
What was that, Kip?
That's why we gotta get the Dems out, so we all can work together.
Well,
here's the thing, if I can find somebody, whichever party that wants to go back to the Constitution, I'll work with them. And I think that's the main thing. I think our guiding light right now should be what our founding fathers intended in the first place. They created a system of checks and balances so that no one branch of government would have all this power. And I think that if they looked at what's happening right now, we've seen one party basically runs the entire show and basically says, we're going to ignore. What's the reason why Republicans lost power in the first place? They lost power because they stopped acting like Republicans. And Democrats campaigned to be conservative. That's what Gabrielle Giffords did. She said she was going to be a conservative, blue dog, moderate Democrat. You can't be that person and vote for cap and trade, and vote for, be a co-sponsor of card check, and vote for the stimulus, and vote for all these things, and say you're against Senate Bill 1070.
And McCain still did the same thing.
I don't think that you can do that. And I believe that you have to be willing to represent the people and not any one specific party. You have to be willing to represent the people and what our founding fathers intended in the first place. And if that means that I work with somebody who maybe doesn't agree with me on every single thing, I will do it. But they have to want to change things for the better. And I consider what's better as reducing all these regulations, reducing the tax burden, and reducing the spending. Other questions? Yes, sir.
What could you do as a congressman to help resolve some of these issues on the board? As a congressman?
I don't know what you think about the Cattlemen's Association's 18-point plan. I looked at a lot of those agenda items. I know some of you worked on that. I was one of the first people to endorse it. And I came out, I think, right after it was released. I talked with them extensively about it. I think that each of those points has a specific reason. I think, first of all, I'm the only candidate who advocates sending the National Guard to the border, not 1,200 troops either, 6,000 troops at the bare minimum. Able to defend themselves, able to actually do the job. I believe that. I think maybe before I could understand, when we sent them in there before, we didn't have someone murdered on the border the way we do right now. But I was supporting that before any of this happened. When the legislature had a bill before the legislature to send the National Guard to the border, Gabrielle Giffords voted against it. I voted